like to greet all human beings all around the world with a universal greetings of peace and the blessings of God be upon you. It doesn't matter what your political, philosophical, personal, nor religious beliefs may be. It doesn't matter whether you the richest to the poorest person on the face of this earth. It doesn't matter whether you the most toughest to the most weakest person on the face of this earth. It doesn't matter whether you like me, like my YouTube videos, like what I say. It doesn't matter whether you give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Sometimes I even like you all to give me thumbs down more than I like somebody else, but I can't do that because God don't give reference to man, you know. But anyway, it doesn't matter if you dark-skinned or light-skinned. It doesn't matter whether you're my family, friends, or my proclaimed enemies. I greet you all with the same universal greetings of peace. And the blessing of God be upon you. Today happened to be Monday. Is it Monday? Yeah, Monday, February the 17th, 2020. The time being about 5:45 p.m. If you notice, I'm downtown here in Charleston, Missouri, Mississippi County, in front of the Mississippi County Courthouse, straight ahead. And then if you look over here to my right, you got the Charleston, Missouri Police Department. And today I'm making a part 2 of what happened to my then 5-year-old daughter on February the 1st, 2012, under the watch of the Charleston R1 School District, Hearns Elementary School, when my daughter was in kindergarten. Also up under the watch of the Charleston, Missouri Police Department. When I say the Charleston, Missouri Police Department too, there go Percy gonna get a shot of her. Me and him got a peace treaty. You know what I mean? I try to, even though when people do wrong, I'm human. As long as they, respect me, I'ma respect them. But anyway, when I say the Charleston, the reason why I say the Charleston, Missouri Police Department, because Charleston, Missouri Police Department has one police officer by the name of Brenda Bitford, who is the Charleston, Missouri R1 School District Resource Officer. Now, the resource officer is supposed to enforce the law, not just against children that do wrong, but employees also. And the female that's the resource officer, she has to answer to her boss, which is the chief of police, Robert Bobby Hearns. Now, if you look at part 1 of me speaking about Charleston, Missouri, Unjust / Untold racist cover-ups, 2/17/20. You see in part 1, I told y'all about when on the 1st of February of 2012, my young daughter came home from school and told me that a bus driver by the name of Joy Rice, he was the agricultural teacher for the high school, Charleston R1 School District High School, plus he was the bus driver for the Charleston, Missouri Warren E. Hearns Elementary School for the kindergartens in the Head Start. Now, my daughter, if you look at the beginning, my daughter was having problems riding on the bus with the kindergartens in the Head Start because of the fact it was some people on there that was harassing her. Matter of fact, one of the females on there, one of the other kids on there, actually licked her on the face. Thank God she didn't lick my oldest daughter, the 6-year-old Queen's face, because Queen might have rearranged her face. But Birdie is a little bit more meeker, so is Queen too. But you don't put your face, your mouth on somebody. When a child put their mouth on another person, they have mental illness. And they got a lot of people in this town with mental illness that's not being treated. But I wasn't going to allow my daughter to go through that abuse, So I signed a contract with the then Warren E. Hearns Elementary School principal, Tammy Brock, and with the assistant principal, he's black, I'm not going to use his name, but he was assistant principal, may he rest in peace. He committed suicide, I believe it was last year. But, and then with the director of transportation, which is black, Tammy Brock is white, but the director of transportation then was black. He retired, I guess, but then he came back as a bus driver. You see what I'm saying? But I signed a contract with them. And my daughter in the kindergarten, when she got out of school at 2:40, she was supposed to be escorted to the elementary school, right? For these bushes there, to them bushes, or a little bit farther, to the office where the 1st and to the 5th graders go, which my daughter that was 6 years old, she was in 1st grade. She was going to sit in the office until the 1st to the 5th graders get out, and she was going to go, she rides home with her sister, who was her protector, who's been her protector ever since everything that the Charleston, Missouri officials here, they know who they are, law enforcement, you know, Susanna Wesley Family Learning Center, some of the school allowed things to happen to her, but Queen has always been her protector. But anyway, when she told me what this guy did, here it is, she had a backpack on. When they sent her to the bus by herself, which that's negligence. She should have been escorted, a 5-year-old, 60 pounds. This guy picked her up by the back of her backpack. Look at part 1. Picked up by a backpack, it broke. She heavy, he picked up by the little loop. He takes her on the bus, she already afraid. Takes her on the bus, sit in the front seat. Then he get a knife out of the front compartment, get behind her with this knife. I didn't tell you in the first part, but it's in some of my other YouTube. She said when he came behind her with that knife, she was already afraid. All she was thinking about in her mind, she was afraid to tell him, can you take me to the office because I'm afraid. Can you take me to the office so they can call my papa? But she stood quiet because when she told him don't pick her up, she didn't give him permission to pick him up by shaking her head saying no, he did it anyway. She was afraid. If you seen Joy Rice, he was a big, tall, white guy. Had to be good 6 feet tall, 200 and some pounds. Taking advantage of my 5-year-old daughter who was 60 pounds. But anyway, this is the important part I want to show you why I criticize the police department, and not all. If you didn't have nothing to do with it in 2012 from the school and the police department, then I'm not talking about you. But I'm talking about blacks and whites. You see what I'm saying? That took a part. Now, here it is. It happened on February the 1st. I went up there and told the principal. She wanted to know what bus drive it was. What difference do it make what bus drive it was if you ain't gonna do nothing about it? I told her Joy Rice. Joy Rice happened to be a white bus driver. My kids happen to be black, Puerto Rican, and Dominican. She told me, I said earlier, she said he had a family, but she said he had kids. If you look at my previous video, she said he had kids. What do that have to do with him having kids? My daughter is a kid. My daughter was 5 years old. So what he did to my daughter is all right because he had kids. But let me tell you this here. When the principal didn't do nothing, so on the 2nd of February, which was Thursday, because Wednesday was the 1st of February of 2012, I called and talked to the assistant principal, may he rest in peace, who quit. Me and him, he talked and told me about how they made him lie about what happened. You see, the director of transportation, he lied. I got it on his paperwork. He told the investigators when they came from Kansas City, he told the investigators that I called and told him wasn't no big thing. How am I gonna say no big thing? That show you what type of black folks you got down here. A straight up Uncle Tom, a straight up sellout. Resigned as, or retired as director of the Charleston R1 School District Transportation. Now he just driving buses. They should have had him doing or doing now, which he probably do, what they tried to have my daughter do when they had her sitting in this bus with this white bus driver for 20 minutes from 2:40 to 3 o'clock. Terrified. But anyway, I talked to the assistant principal. He said he set up a meeting for the 3rd, which was Friday, on February the 3rd, 2012. He heard my story. He had heard my daughter's story. He didn't ask no question. I'm asking all the questions. And the bus driver admitted to what he was doing. What he was doing, it violated my daughter's rights. It frightened my daughter. But then, let me tell you on this here now, you got a resource officer. She should have been involved. 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. Then the 6th, which was that Monday, my daughter go to school. I told him I wasn't gonna let her ride the bus no more. I'm taking them to school, dropping them off and bringing them back. When I went to pick her up, Poppy, I know you're gonna be mad at me about what, baby? I know y'all heard this in part 1, but I'm getting to another point now. The police lady came to my room and took me to the assistant principal office, the black assistant principal, may he rest in peace. Now, he had already talked to her, heard her story, heard she said she was afraid, but he gonna ask her, did he hurt you? Then the resource officer said, was you afraid? They trying to take away all elements of a crime. If he made her frightened, that's a crime. If he didn't make her frightened, she wouldn't have came home and told me. So she must have been frightened. But they said that she cried when I said, what did you tell them that you wasn't afraid for and you told me? She got to crying. She said, Poppy, I didn't tell them that. They told me. The lady kept on saying, you wasn't afraid. He didn't hurt you. This is how these people here in this police department, up on the Robert Bobby Hearns, this is how they operate. Now, let me tell you the big thing about this here. The female questioned my daughter without my presence, without my permission, without my knowledge. And when I came down to the police station and told her about it, she told me she had a right to do it, and I told her she didn't have a right to do it. But let me tell you this here. She didn't even question the bus driver. He had a knife on the bus. She didn't question the bus driver. She said when the superintendent asked her, is the bus driver, is our employee going to have a police report against him, or is he going to be arrested? This is what Brenda Bifford, the resource officer, said. No, he's not. I didn't question him. She didn't even question him. She said, I thought you said that Irvin Johnson, which is the director, was the director of the Charleston, Missouri R1 school district transportation at the time. How is the transportation director going to question the bus driver when the police resource officer questioned my daughter? But let me tell you this here. She didn't write a report. She didn't write an incident report. You see what I'm saying? They wouldn't allow me to file no report. And what do that go back to? Whoever running the police department, Robert Hearns, who's been running it for years. You look at the school, what it's named after. You see this here? You see this here? This is what I'm fighting up against. This is what I'm fighting up against. The head of Robert Hearns' uncle, Warren E. Hearns, on the courthouse. I'm fighting against white supremacists and sellout blacks. And if you ain't a white supremacist or a sellout black, this shouldn't bother you. But what happened to my daughter was a crime. You see what I'm saying? Even though Washington, D.C., they sent investigators down here, but when they sent investigators down here, tell your mama to shut up. Tell your mama to shut up. And if you don't like it, turn around. That's what I go through. You see what I'm going through? White, racist white folks telling me to shut up. But see, they keep going. They smart. They right in front of the police station where I lay them right down here. They can't shut me up. They think because of this, and that, they think they can shut Raymond Ivy up, but they can't shut me up. Peace be still.